Alrighty, we are back that fast. I know, right? Let's go ahead and switch on over to our main scene. We have 90-mile-an-hour winds ongoing right now across northern Illinois. There is a PDS severe for 90-mile-an-hour winds ongoing. Also, a tornado warning in place. Wasn't going to go live for an 80-mile-an-hour severe, but they upgraded this to a 90-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning for observed 90-mile-an-hour winds. So there is confirmed 90-mile-an-hour winds ongoing for this storm. Pretty large area of rotation, but it is pretty weak. The main issue with this is the 90-mile-an-hour winds ongoing, pushing up to the northeast. And this is on the border of southwest Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, and northwestern Illinois. This is a PDS severe for 90-mile-an-hour winds for the next 31 minutes. We've had quite a few tornado warnings ever since I last ended, like maybe 30 minutes ago. But none of them have been observed aside from the quick tornado right when we ended. We were ending as that tornado touched down and then lifted very quickly after that. And now we're seeing 90-mile-an-hour winds out here ongoing. Again, this is kind of on like a triple state boundary here, or a border rather. This is Illinois right here. That is Illinois. Up here is the border between, that is Wisconsin, and this is Iowa. So it's right in the tri-state. That's what I was looking for. Right in a tri-state area. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is a observed 90-mile-per-hour severe for the next half hour. Storm moving east at 65 miles per hour. Has observed 90-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail with it. This is a life-threatening situation. There's also the possibility for a tornado to develop out of this storm. So you want to be in your safe spot immediately if you are in the tornado warnings or in this brown severe. This brownish orangish severe is a PDS severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to go ahead and open up my pin. I forgot about that. I didn't see, well, there's a report. Okay, there's a possible gust of 90 miles per hour with observed 85 mile per hour winds. So you round it up. If you have a report for 85 mile an hour winds, that means the storm is capable of 90 mile an hour winds. So this is a gust, possibly gusts upwards of 90 miles per hour. Since we only do severes, typically are 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and then if you somehow see one, 120 plus is possible. So instead of an 80 mile an hour severe, the max gusts get increased to 90 mile per hour winds here. So this is going to push up to the northeast very, very quickly at about 60 to 65 miles per hour. So we're going to continue to watch that very, very closely. These are the only two tornado warnings in effect at the moment, both for 14 minutes. But again, the main reason why we're live is because of that 90 mile an hour wind gust that was reported just to the west of where this 90 mile an hour severe is currently in effect. There's also 70 mile per hour winds occurring to the south of the 90 mile an hour wind gust. So you're looking at 70 mile an hour winds down here, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds up here. And then right in the middle is where we're looking at 90 mile an hour winds. And this is exactly where the HRRR was thinking it would be too. The HRRR nailed this this squall line here forming, and our event further to the southwest hasn't had anything. There's nothing to the southwest. Like I said, we had that one observed warning as we were ending 30-ish minutes ago. Since then, we haven't had any other things confirmed down here. Still an underperforming event across the majority of our enhanced risk area, with our actual 90 mile an hour wind severe being way up here into the 60, or rather into the 60, into the 15%. My goodness. That's a 15% wind risk, non-hatched, that has a 90 mile per hour severe. Let's go over, you said 105 mile an hour wind gust. Is that from a MEDAR? Or what? Because if that's radar observations, I'm not trusting that at all. Let's see. I don't see any main MEDARs here. I see one right here. We'll have to check that when the storm rolls through in a couple minutes, if I remember. But that's the only meters I see on Radar Omega. There is place file here. Let's see. See if I can find it. I have so many place files. Alright, let's see if this pops up any of them. I only see 3 out here in Iowa for some reason. Then again, I have so many warnings that it's hard to see the wind gusts. So that was one from a while ago. Yeah, that's a gust of 21, so that's well past the storm already. Storm is well past. So that's our pocket of 80 to 90 mile an hour winds currently. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for 90 mile an hour winds for the next 25 minutes. This is pushing off to the east-northeast, barely moving northeast. It's primarily moving due east at the moment. Also going to keep an eye on this cell merge down here. I wonder if that could increase tornado genesis somewhere further to its north. So we'll keep an eye on that merger also occurring. But this has turned into a full line out here. Look at this. It is a big, severe line here. And then you have 2 other severes down here that almost fully connect it in terms of severe warnings. So very crazy. Very crazy. I don't really see much opportunity for tornadoes with this line. The only 2 areas I'm really watching is right here. And then also with a cell merger that is from the south pushing north that could merge with that area as it moves east. So really just watching this general vicinity in here for the potential of a tornado. And they're not extending that tornado warning either. That tornado warning expires in 9 minutes. The storm is already moving outside that tornado warned area. So both of our tornado warnings expire in 9 minutes. We will probably see a new one somewhere before those 9 minutes are up. Still observed 90 mile an hour winds here, aimed for Stockton, Woodbine, Elizabeth, Hanover, and far northwest Illinois. Also includes in northeastern Iowa. Bernard is inside of that, all the way back to the Iowa and Illinois state border. The good news is this 90 mile an hour severe, it doesn't go into southwest Wisconsin. But the bad news is still southwest Wisconsin, you're going to end up with 60 to 70 mile an hour winds as the northern side of this line pushes to the east-northeast through your area. Very intense line. And there is a new tornado watch just got put out. That just got issued further east to include Chicago. Let me go over here. This is going to take me a while to find the right site to get the watch probs. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this just came out. Came out literally just a minute ago. I don't even have the watch probs on it right now. Let's see if this at least had something. Few tornadoes possible. 75 mile an hour winds likely. Ping pong sized tail possible. 60 mile an hour winds for this severe continues further east now. So we'll continue to watch that as well. But the main wind gust will be focused over this small corridor right in here over the next 20 minutes or so. This might be a bit bugged. Okay, Radar Omega doesn't have it either. Weatherwise is literally the only thing that has this watch popped up. Whoa. Alright, so it is a 50-20 tornado watch, but the wind prob is 70-30. Very high-end wind probability watch there. Peak winds of 65 to 75 miles per hour. Hey, buddy, there's a 90 mile an hour wind gust currently, like on almost the west side of that tornado watch. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up seeing another at least 80 mile an hour severe, so those peak wind gusts probably will be higher than what the watch is for, honestly. But the main threat is by far damaging winds here with this line as it moves to the east. We're still well removed from the enhanced risk area. All right, they canceled that tornado warning. We're down to 1 tornado warning for 6 more minutes. Down to 1 tornado warning. So again, your observed 80-mile-per-hour severe still pushing east towards Stockton in northwest Illinois. Just being your safe spot if you're in that severe. And if you're in our only active tornado warning, which is over, let's see, is the active one, right? Yeah. Bankston to Asbury, Sageville, that general area in Iowa under a tornado warning for 6 more minutes. Blanchardville, let me see. Oh, that's up here. As the line catches up to it, yeah. Yeah, it could intensify quickly as the line catches up to it. That would not surprise me. Man, so the HRRR actually underdid the intensity. For a moment, it was overdoing it. Now it's actually underdoing the intensity of these storms. It is weakening and it's more clustered, so that's good. If it was still as semi-discrete as what it was 30 minutes to an hour ago, it would be a big issue. So thankfully it's not as discrete. Still pretty discrete though. We're going to have to keep a close eye on it. Wow. Yeah, the main tornado threat actually might end up being closer to 8 o'clock tonight in northern Illinois. I don't think this line's going to weaken very much. It's probably going to continue with 70 to 80-mile-an-hour winds, and we could get another gust of 90 here. Also, that tornado watch issued for Chicago and surrounding areas up to southern Wisconsin, that is for over 12 million people. They are continuing the severe for 80-mile-an-hour winds observed here in northwestern Illinois. 90 observed mile-an-hour wind gust. Yeah, I don't see this posing much of a tornado threat in the short term, but it's gonna try to produce more tornadoes in the future. I can tell you that. It is for sure going to try to produce more tornadoes in the future, and I bet the lower level wind shear is increasing with this, so it definitely is going to be an issue in north central Illinois. So this is going to continue to push to the east. So this entire area is at risk to see 60 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts. Further south, there's some uncertainties on how far south the line will extend, but that's generally where it is tracking at the moment. They upgraded a good chunk of southern Wisconsin to a tornado watch as well. You can see they upgraded that. Madison upgraded from a severe watch to a tornado watch. Yeah, those winds are definitely weaker, so our velocities have weakened significantly over the last couple frames, but there could still be up to 90-mile-an-hour winds here going towards Guilford in northwestern Illinois. Quickly take a look at our lower level wind shear. All right, they dropped that. Nope, it's still at 90. It's just there's a new severe over that. So they just issued a new severe. So when the 90 mile an hour severe expires in 16 minutes, it will be dropped down to a 70 mile an hour severe. But they are still continuing that 90 mile an hour severe here for the next couple of minutes. I don't think the HRRR is correct with how tonight's going to play out because its timing is horrible. Its timing is terrible. But that's going to be where our main threat exists for the next couple minutes. Right in this area is our main threat for 80 to 90 mile an hour winds. But yeah, we got a good MCS going now. And whenever that happens in summertime, typically we have a lot of instability. So if I take a quick look here, I want to see our cape. I know we had a lot of cape out there in southern Iowa, but I want to see where that went to. I want to see how much of it's in front of this line now. Not an absurd amount. 2,000. Definitely not the best environment for damaging winds. D-cape only at 800, so I'm actually a bit surprised how well organized this is. So you're in far southeast Wisconsin. The line is probably going to be a bit weaker as it gets to you. I think our peak activity is going to be where we are now. I think right in this area is our peak activity for the next 2-3 hours. It just depends on where it moves. For the next 2 to 3 hours, that's its peak. It depends on how fast it is. If it's as fast, if it keeps going as fast as it is right now, 60-65 miles per hour, it's going to go across this entire portion. This entire portion of Illinois and Wisconsin. But if it slows down a bit, there's a chance it weakens as it nears Chicago. I had plans. I'm supposed to be doing something right now, but 90 mile an hour severe, I cut those plans out. I would really like to continue them though. I would really love to go finish, or actually start my plans, because I'm going to be in trouble tomorrow if I keep streaming here. Switch back over to this radar again. Still observed for 90 mile an hour winds. It could still be producing that bad of damaging winds. We do have that MEDAR. Let me go to our wind speeds. So that was a gust of almost 60 miles per hour 3 minutes ago. So that's about 3 minutes ago. So that was right where this went through. Like perfect timing with that MEDAR's update. So it's probably still capable of 70 mile an hour winds, but I don't think it's up to the 90 anymore. I don't believe it's that high in terms of damaging winds. That likely peaked back here. You could see that pocket. That's where we got our 85 mile an hour wind report, upwards of 90 mile per hour wind gust. And it peaked across this entire region right here. So that's probably where we saw a swath of 80 to 90 mile per hour damaging winds. And now it is weakened very, very quickly and weakened significantly. Keep an eye on the northern side of the line near King in far east central Iowa, going into northwest Illinois. We are officially without a single tornado warning, though. We are officially at 0 tornado warnings across the U.S. See, the HRRR was thinking our line would be back here at this point, and that would allow for these prefrontals to move in front of the line and then try to produce tornadoes up in this area. But because our line is an hour ahead of schedule, now these storms down here are just going to be pushed northeast and probably merge with the line and likely not be that bad of a tornado threat. The HRRR got this right pretty well. It was definitely wrong on timing, but it was definitely the best model today. Yeah, big wind bag, but I am concerned about the tornado threat going into north central Illinois. I think tornado threat could ramp back up as storms get into this area. And then this is the question mark here. Let's see how fast these storms are moving. See, they have them moving at 65 miles per hour to the east. So if we go from where they are now, east, so according to that storm mode, it should just be 2 hours before they get from here all the way to where you are in southeastern Wisconsin. But I don't know. The slower they are, the less threat it's going to be further east. So if these storms keep moving at 65 miles per hour, that's going to allow for them to push over this entire area being really, really severe. But if they slow down, then that gives them enough time to slow down, and then as the sun sets, they should start to weaken. So, looks like we've got a tornado trying to drop out here. Just to the west of downtown Davenport. That's probably the tornado warning, yep. Have to wait for another scan on that. I don't see any CC drop on it at the moment, but that is very much capable of producing a tornado, and the reason why is because of an outflow boundary. So these storms likely wouldn't have been able to produce any tornado threat, but now it's got that outflow boundary latched onto it, and that's all it needs is that little bit extra vorticity. Bit better of a vorticity with it, just to help it drop that tornado. So we now have a large, strong tornado on the ground on the southwest side of Davenport, Iowa. So this is the second confirmed tornado of the day, and this is likely a strong tornado with a reflectivity debris ball. This is going to cross Interstate 280, Highway 61, that interchange between Business 61, Highway 61, and Interstate 280 on the southwest quadrant of Davenport, Iowa, just to the southeast of Little Groves. This is likely a strong and extremely dangerous tornado that is about to head directly into the city of Davenport, Iowa. Rotation on that is about 110 miles per hour. It's hard to say exactly how strong it is, but it looks to be around the realm of 100 to 110 miles per hour. Right around there. Very, very classic supercell, actually. I'm very impressed with how quickly this was able to intensify. Because, like I said, these storms definitely would not have been much of a tornadic issue. They would have just merged with the line perfectly fine in about 20 minutes or so. But that boundary, that's all it took. That's literally all it took. And it also had a cell merger, too, so that really helped. Cell merger plus outflow boundary. Really helped induce tornado genesis right in there. Very classic hook echo. Latest scan, not as classic, but this scan right here, very classic tornado debris signature right here. Really well shaped supercell. See if that's still on the ground. I do see some CC, but I want to see the velocity here. Updates in 5 seconds to be able to judge if that is still... That is likely still a strong tornado on the ground. Likely still a strong tornado on the ground there. That's a lot of freaking debris, dude. That is a lot of debris. But that's likely still a tornado ongoing. Crossing Interstate 280, was it? Let's go get that again. Yep, Interstate 280 directly over Interstate 280 just west of Black Hawk, moving into downtown Davenport. This is literally downtown Davenport. This entire area is downtown Davenport, Iowa, and there's a strong tornado right here moving right towards downtown Davenport. I'm shocked that's not PDS. I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked that is not PDS right there. But this is now a confirmed tornado warning. It's going right into Davenport, Iowa. Might be moving a little bit more east. No, it's still moving. Yeah, it's still moving up like this. It's heading directly for downtown Davenport. Should get another update here in 5 seconds or so, but real quick, I want to check that 90 mile an hour severe. Still at 90 mile an hour winds in northwest Illinois for Stockton, Guilford for the next 5 minutes. That's likely still it right there, but again, I want to wait for that velocity scan to judge on if I do think or don't think this is on the ground. Still. It definitely was on the ground 2 minutes ago, but we're about to get another scan right now to see if it is still on the ground according to radar. That's a tough call. Very tough call, but we're going to continue to assume that this is a destructive tornado on the ground in the west side of Davenport, Iowa. So please be in your safe spot. There's about 250,000 people inside this observed tornado warning right now. I'm not for sure if that is still on the ground or not. It is either on the ground or that's debris falling out of the sky. And it's starting to go into the metropolitan area of Davenport. You can see now it's going into the very populated area of Davenport. I do notice it is turning a lot more north. That is probably an occlusion process. So the occlusion process is where a tornado will go up and around the base of the supercell and then lift up here. And it looks like it's turned more north. This is not going to be a very good track. Actually, it kind of is. So you can see it is turned more to the north. So it's moving more to the almost dead north at the moment. And that should allow for it to occlude and lift very rapidly, if not already has lifted. You can see that with the velocity as well. Started way back down in here, and it is slowly shifted to moving more to the north-northeast. So it's going to go through the northern side of Davenport if it is still on the ground, which I don't think it is on that newest scan right at the radar. That is your radar right there. That's your radar's location. That red dot is your radar site scanning right into this tornado. And it has a much more broad and weaker area of rotation here. So I don't think it is on the ground anymore. I think it is lifted. That newest scan definitely has lighter debris, so but we'll need to keep an eye on it to see if it recycles, see if this area of rotation intensifies as it goes almost over the radar site. Let's go back over to weatherwise again. So that that PDS 90 mile an hour observed severe is close to expiring. Very close to expiring. Yeah, it's got about a minute and a half left. So still a really well-defined supercell structure here. Really large supercell, about to move right over Davenport, Iowa. You can see your tornado likely touched down somewhere probably in here and then progressed up to the north like this and has likely lifted somewhere up in that area. That's a general... Oh, nope, probably lifted before that. Probably lifted closer to right in here. A little bit before that arrow instead of after it. Alright, here comes a new scan. Probably just a new CC scan because velocity is always delayed. Yeah, that's a new CC scan, and it looks like that's probably part of your debris falling from the atmosphere here. Right in here. No longer that 90 mile per hour severe in effect. So 90 mile per hour severe has been dropped for northwestern Illinois. But yeah, I mean, this storm had the smallest chance to produce a tornado, and it actually did. That's all it took. That could still be on the ground, you know. That could still be a very weak tornado on the ground. That would not surprise me. So let's look at the track of this again. So just drawing out this is a estimate of your tornado track. That is an estimate of your tornado track. A very good estimate, albeit. And it actually touched down the scan before that, so it actually touched down a little bit more to the west. Closer to that. Touched down a little sooner. So if we take off the radar imagery, that would put it over the west side of Davenport. A lot of homes on the west side. Not through exact downtown Davenport. Maybe clipped the northwest side of downtown Davenport there. But looks like it stayed on the west side, which is still very, very populated. Very populated area. And again, this could still be on the ground. It could still be ongoing right here in this pink circle. It could still be ongoing / actively lifting. Keep an eye on these little areas of weak rotation that can form in the line. That was one right there. We're going to keep an eye on those just little areas of rotation that try to spin up. Storms forming by Chicago. Yeah, those aren't going to be a problem. If they formed closer to our line, it would be. So in this case, these storms are very far in front of the line, so that means they have minimal forcing. So they likely won't grow upscale to be anything significant. Now, I would keep an eye on it as those storms move to the northeast and our line gets closer. That could change, but I think those will primarily just stay as rain showers west of Chicago. Chicago's main threat will be closer to 9 o'clock Central. Timing on it's pretty uncertain, though. I would just say closer to 9 o'clock Central Time. I think the HRRR is terribly off with its timing. HRRR is saying like midnight for Chicago. I don't think so. Well, that could be the case because your main line, looping this a bit more, your main line is moving like this. Like that's where the main portion of your line is moving. Then further south, this stuff's moving like that. So these storms are moving due east. These storms are moving due northeast. And then further to the south, these are moving more due east. And then the very far southern one near Davenport is moving northeast. A lot of crazy storm modes here. Storm motion, rather. Hello, Pete. Went live for a 90-mile-an-hour severe, and we ended up having a destructive tornado on the west side of Davenport. Let's go back to our radar site. Yeah, that's lifted now. There's likely no longer a tornado on the ground over Davenport. So that's good. We'll keep an eye on this to produce a tornado. Again, it could still produce another one over the next 20-30 minutes or so, but it's going to have a very short opportunity to produce another tornado. You can see the outflow boundary from our main line is right here. So I'd say it probably has another 20 minutes to try to recycle. So there is a chance. There's a chance that they can try to reproduce. All right, let's go further north. Yeah, I don't really see any rotation with any of these, anything embedded in this line, I should say. And I do want to go to the Milwaukee radar site real quick. Is this still... Yeah, it is still possible because this storm, it still has a supercell-like characteristic to it. And it's not... It's starting to kind of take in that cluster, you know. It's started to more... It's starting to become more well-organized. Could be trying to ramp up here. We've been keeping an eye on this storm for hours at this point. And it already tried to produce a tornado in southwest Wisconsin about an hour and a half ago. Continued to attempt to produce a tornado for a good hour or so. Then finally other storms hit it. It got too clustered, started to die out. And now it's become more discrete to semi-discrete again. And as the line approaches it, I wouldn't rule out that it starts to intensify even a little bit more further here. I want to go check our environment real quick, because I haven't checked the newest mesoanalysis to see if that lower level wind shear ever did increase. Nope, it still stayed pretty poor. There's a little area of an enhanced lower level wind shear down near Davenport, Iowa, all the way back down into north central Missouri, so no wonder why that storm further south was able to produce a tornado. That's where your best wind shear is located. And instability, we're getting up there in instability. It looks like we're up to about 3,000 in north central Illinois. And downdraft instability, still low on that, 700 to 900. So now we've got a very clear-cut area of where our greatest risk for severe storms will be over the next 3 or so hours. It's going to be right in this area. So pretty much almost the entire tornado watch. Almost the entire tornado watch has a risk to see this this line of severe storms move through. So it's not like isolated severe storms or a couple supercells. This is a full-fledged line that is going to be tracking through much of the tornado watch of over 12 million people over the next 3 hours. It is a big, big line. Gonna keep a very close eye again on that storm south of Madison, Wisconsin. And then we will watch those near Chicago, but I think those storms in Chicago fired too early. If they fired an hour from now, that would be closer to when the line is, towards like Rockford or so, thus allowing for better forcing for them. But I think they fired too early to be a good threat for severe weather. Yeah, the SPC didn't do too good today. Just flat out, they really just, the forecast really wasn't that well from the get-go. I think today could have verified easily as a 5% tornado risk. I will say, though, our only notable tornado of the day did occur in the 10%. So I will definitely give them props for that one. Barely in the 10%, but in the 10%. And their wind risk was atrocious. Yeah, 30% wind risk was horrible. I don't know if we've even seen a 70-mile-an-hour severe here. Pretty much all of our significant severes have been in this area here. But now storms are entering the enhanced risk, the far northwest side of the enhanced risk. So we could get another significant severe going into the enhanced. But right now there is not really anything too crazy. This line is really, really weakened. Maybe it won't strengthen. Maybe it won't keep strengthening. It is down to, our 90-mile-an-hour severe is down to 60. The strongest portion of our line is moved into southwest Wisconsin. I don't know. I feel like actually this portion of the line might strengthen and head towards Chicago. Because this is where our storms have all merged. I wonder if this is going to strengthen and that's going to be what heads into Chicago, this southern portion of our MCS. And I'm not too worried about that storm, Ben. I mean, it's rotating for sure. It is definitely rotating, but the fact that it hasn't intensified like at all over the last hour, even with it being semi-discrete, it just means there's got to be something wrong in the atmosphere. But that enhanced lower level wind shear is going to be approaching it here over the next 15 to 30 minutes. So if it does produce another tornado, I think it's going to be between now and the next 45 minutes. As that line gets much closer to it. Yeah, the line is helping it. And it will continue to help it until the line hits it. And even when the line hits it, that's still going to help promote a tornado threat. So, we just want to keep a close eye on it all around Madison, Wisconsin. Just all around this area, we're going to watch for a tornado threat over the next hour. From now all the way till 7:30 Eastern, which is 6:30 Central. Wonder how long this is going to continue for. Like, no model run handled this well, so... The HRRR, like I said, it handled it all right, but the timing of it was horrible. It didn't do... Like, the location. It got the location almost spot on, if not spot on. but the timing of it just atrocious. Like the HRRR is like 3 hours too late. Still going to keep an eye on this tornado warning for it to potentially spin up here as this storm goes into the far eastern portion of Iowa and eventually into west northwest Illinois. But this entire area of our line has weakened very rapidly. Went from 90 to 60 mile-an-hour winds. And yeah, this line is strengthening further to the south. It's up to 70 now. So our main concern is this portion of our line and also this indent back up here. So that's the two main areas in between towards Freeport. That's our weakest portion of our line. This environment is nowhere near Barnsdale, Ben. There's like no lower level wind shear here. The best wind shear is right along the line, which is why I think as this merges, this prefrontal merges with the line, that could give it another chance to produce. But it has very broad velocities, very weak inbound and outbound velocities. And look at that. There's your full line. Crazy how this thing evolved, dude. Started way back in Des Moines, Iowa. Like 4 hours ago. This thing has made it really, really far. It's made it very, very far, and it's looked very sloppy all the way up until northwestern Illinois, southwest Wisconsin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, looking at this loop and another loop, I'm pretty sure this is going to be our biggest damaging wind maker for Chicago. I don't think it's going to be this. I think this stuff's going to move off to the northeast more. Because that front is hitting it. If I loop this, you can't tell it as well. I'll show you College 2 Pages loop. Watch the main front. You can just tell as the front is hitting it right now and over the next 20 minutes that it's going to start surging it more to the northeast. And then look at the wild speed of that in northeast Iowa right here. Watch right in here. In like a 30-minute time frame, the thing just accelerates quickly. So it's going pretty slow, and then right here, it just goes insanely fast. And that cell merge probably played a role in help killing the storm. That cell merge hit the main hook echo and the main Boeing portion and helped destroy it. Huh. Well, you know what that is. That is the area of rotation I pointed out back near Guilford. Moved up to the north. You could see it. It's the same portion of the line. And I almost want to say on that newest frame, it almost looks like a book and vortex. The main book and vortex is definitely right back in here. That's where your main book and vortex is really located. But there's no actual vortex of rotation there. So this might be like a mini book and vortex here. Because you can see it. Watch the spin. You can see the spin. See the spin of it? So this whole thing is spinning. I bet there's an MCV in here. I bet this is an MCV. I bet that is a forming MCV in there. So this might be like a mini, very miniature bookend vortex. I gotta keep an eye on that little rain shower northeast of Davenport, Iowa. That's gonna go towards Hillsdale, western Wisconsin, or rather Illinois, northwest Illinois. Hillsdale and northwest Illinois. I knew I was going to mix up these states because we're going past mentioning 3 different states here: Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa. So we'll watch that as it moves northeast. Still tornado warning in effect there for Princeton in Iowa. And I don't think that mini bookend vortex is going to do much, to be honest with you. It's very, very weak. There's no, like I said, it looks like the primary bookend vortex slash maybe a MCV is developing back in here. But that's so far away from the line that it's not really going to have much vorticity in order to produce any areas of rotation. It's not close enough. I know a lot of the time when we talk about a bookend vortex, it's like right there, and then it goes back down into the rest of the line. So it's a little spin like right up in here. And in this case, that area is like way back here. And I just think that's too far. Very odd tornado warning. Because I personally, I don't see that rotating at the moment. Now, again, you can see the broad spin of it from the MCV. The very large, broad spin. So we'll still keep an eye on it. See if maybe the cell merge coming up here. Something happens with this cell merge here. I still think we're a good, maybe even a good 40 minutes from that cell merge happening. I don't know, it's how fast again? 65? Yeah, we're probably closer to like 30 minutes. But it looks like that's starting to fall apart, so hopefully that just keeps falling apart. The more that falls apart, the better. Whoa. Let's go back to the... Not this one. Quad Cities. What? Where is that, Man, give me the 6 panel. Holy cow. Yep. I believe that is a tornado ongoing. I believe that is a tornado ongoing. Very difficult to say. We'll see what this next full scan has to show, but that spectrum width completely gone now. Fully gone on that newest scan. We'll wait for everything to come in. That'll be another 10 seconds or so. Sam, you missed a significant tornado, 90-mile-an-hour severe, and then we have another tornado possibly on the ground right here. That looks like more corruption now. That last scan, though, I think that was a debris signature. I think we had a brief tornado right there. Yeah, I think we had a brief tornado right in this area. Not 100% sure, but everything on the checklist checks. Because you've got NROT, area of rotation, precipitation, at least some of a CC drop. I don't know how much of that is corruption. You've got a spectrum width indicator there, and then a ZDR drop too. So right here, this area checks as a potential tornado. Right on the left side of that rotation. But on the newest scan, if it was a tornado, it's lifted. So if it was a tornado, it's gone now. Also looks like they issued a 70-mile-an-hour severe for these storms further south too. So both of these are up to 70-mile-an-hour severe storms. I want to go back and look at our kind of MCV-ish thing that's starting to develop up here. See, these little tiny areas of velocity that look like nothing, that's what you got to keep an eye on when you're close to bookend vortexes like this or close to an MCV. Because those little things can quickly drop quick-moving brief tornadoes. Good news, they just downgraded that southern severe to 60 again. Far northern severe upgraded to 70. Tornado warning is radar indicated. So they don't have any suspicion of it being a tornado based on radar. They probably are just playing the safe bet with going radar indicated because they're unsure if that was a debris signature or not. I think it was, but it didn't continue for another scan, which makes me more suspicious of it. Trying to see if there's anything new here. So it looks like this might already be weakening. Because that's looking a lot better. In terms of a lot weaker, it's looking a lot better. Looking a lot better in the sense for people of Chicago. It's because it had that curve thing to it, that swirl. I could watch that all day, literally. Look at this. I could watch this loop all day. This area right here. Watch how that swings. Like a slingshot. That's probably what is going to help Chicago not get as bad of a storm as what HRRR is saying. Dude. Crazy how this thing looks on radar. Look at satellite. Just a big blob. What about infrared? Infrared satellite imagery. Yikes. Yo, that's a beast. Dude. That is a beast of a storm on infrared. Wow. Don't jinx it now. Too late. Too late. I might have already. Oh. It's an 80-mile-an-hour severe again. I jinxed it. Observed 80-mile-an-hour winds on this storm. So this is a PDS severe thunderstorm warning for observed 80-mile-an-hour winds. So be in your safe spot. That's right along our MCV. That is exactly what I was talking about with that spin to it. It took 1 minute for this guy to jinx it. Oh, man. That's just me, man. Depending on where those 80-mile-an-hour winds are located, this is probably going to very quickly move outside the warned area because this is not moving east. As we saw from that radar loop on College Dew page, this is for sure moving northeast. So if there is 80-mile-an-hour winds ongoing here, it's going to be outside of that severe thunderstorm warning very quickly. Right now, Logan, it's looking pretty good. Right now, it's looking pretty good. In terms of it weakening in time before it gets to you guys. Mainly, the main threat right now is 60 to up to 70-mile-an-hour winds along the line. And then we do have that one area of potentially 80-mile-an-hour winds. But much of it is likely weakening. The number one thing I'm going to pay attention to is how the line strengthens in north central Illinois. I want to see what this does in here. Yeah, okay. There's so many severes. I am getting overwhelmed. Like, there's like 5, 6 severes in one area. That whenever I click it, I'm like, okay, has this been downgraded? Oh, nope, that's the other 4 severes that I just clicked on. Like, literally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 severes and a tornado warning, all in this small quadrant of southwest Wisconsin. I keep clicking weatherwise. I don't mean to do that. I'm trying to check something else. That orange polygon and the red polygon, those are the 2 polygons where you need to be seeking shelter. Red is a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. Orange is a observed 80-mile-per-hour severe. So we have 80-mile-an-hour winds ongoing in the orange and a potential tornado attempting to develop in the red polygon. Davenport storm look right now. Let's go see. Horrible for a tornado threat. The outflow boundary has fully surged out in front, and it is turning completely outflow dominant. It has turned to a completely outflow dominant storm. Still could be 60 to 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts right in here, moving to the east. But in terms of a tornado threat, that tornado threat is gone. Tornado warning has been dropped. Yeah, so it's really just this portion of our line that is notable right now. That's really the only portion of our line. Let me go back to weatherwise here. So out of this entire line, the main area to watch is right in here, and that's going to move up towards Madison. And I'm hoping once it gets near Madison, I'm hoping it weakens. Hopefully it weakens as it gets near Madison. See, I'm seeing if this is still the same. Yeah, just scrap the HRRR. That thing is doing horrible with timing. Sam, like 30 minutes after we went live. We went live for a PDS severe for 90-mile-an-hour winds. And thank you, Proxy, for reminding me. I completely forgot. I'm not used to that overlay. We've switched to this type of overlay now. But yeah, Sam, it was like 20, 30 minutes after we went live. West of Davenport. So that's a new tornado warning for your, like in front of your MCV. So this MCV, it's rotating right here. Storms are rotating around the MCV. That's creating enough rotation for the potential of a spin-up tornado. So they've decided to tornado warn this entire portion of your line in front of the, what looks to be, in my opinion, an MCV developing back here. Because you can see the spin of what looks to be an MCV. And that's helping to create some rotation to potentially try and produce tornadoes there. Also, up to 80-mile-per-hour winds with that. Give me just a second. Okay. So still a large line of severe weather continuing to the east. Much of these storms are producing 60-mile-an-hour winds, but we could still get the isolated gust of 70-mile-per-hour winds anywhere along the line, and then we could have a gust of up to 80 as this storm goes near Monroe. So anywhere in here, this is where we're seeing widespread 50 to 60-mile-an-hour winds widespread. Could get a gust anywhere along this line of 70, and then specifically in this region, right in here. Hold on, I gotta change to this color. Specifically right in here is where we could get a gust upwards of 80. But most people impacted by this line are gonna get 50 to 60-mile-an-hour winds. That being the main issue. I want to see if the HRRR has corrected itself. A new one comes in here in 10 minutes. Michigan forecast. Really only keeping an eye on West Michigan for tonight. This line has a chance to survive all the way until Southwest Michigan. So your line is right back in here. And that's pushing up to the northeast. And there's a chance it survives all the way until about Grand Rapids in western Michigan very late tonight. And if that does occur, we're looking at 50 to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts being possible and a brief weak tornado. And that will likely be close to 1 a.m. before it gets all the way that far into Michigan. Because this is still probably a good, in my opinion, a good 2 hours from Chicago. Even though it's... well, see, they changed that. It used to be moving at 65 miles per hour. Now it's back down to 50. And what's this line moving at? 50. And it's about... Yeah, I think it's going to be a good 2 hours before it gets to Chicago. So it'll be in Chicago probably about 9 o'clock Eastern, maybe 8 o'clock Central Time. Then it will cross over the lake and it will get to far western Michigan towards midnight Eastern Time. And then Grand Rapids towards 1 a.m. Eastern Time. But lines can slow down and speed up, so it's hard to say the exact timing. That's just an estimate. Hold on, I did see that other report. Was that any high? Yep, that was higher. 79-mile-an-hour wind report. That's what warranted the observed 80-mile-an-hour severe. I'm shocked that produced 80-mile-an-hour winds. That's like right where the MCV tracked over. Let's see. Will those little prefrontals do anything near Chicago? Like I said, I think they fired a little bit too early. If they fired in like an hour or even 40 minutes from now, yeah, they probably would have been an issue. But because they fired early, there's not much forcing out there away from the line. And so they're probably not going to do anything crazy. Alright, here's the new HRRR. We'll see how terrible it does. And it's already wrong. It's already wrong that quickly. It initiated wrong. It has the line. Now it's too slow. Now it's way too slow. It has the line being back here. Like, literally, it is like 50 miles too far west. Which is a full hour, maybe even more than that, too slow. So still 2 tornado warnings in effect and an 80-mile-per-hour severe in effect here in southwest Wisconsin. We're going to continue to monitor that closely as it moves up to the northeast. Everything further south is weakened, 60-mile-an-hour winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds. There is still the chance for a gust as high as 70 out here near Erie and Hillsdale in west central Illinois, but that line is also beginning to weaken. So the main threat for 70 to 80-mile-an-hour winds is still going to remain in this area, as well as the main chance for a brief spin-up tornado or two. See the HRRR one more frame real quick. All right, still radar indicated. Hello, Chip. Unfortunately, you tuned in right as I'm about to end. I'm probably going to go ahead and end. Because, like I said, I was in the middle of doing something an hour and 15 minutes ago. And then I saw the 90-mile-an-hour severe. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have to go stream it real quick. So, I'm probably going to conclude again. This time, though, I won't be able to come back. Because, I seriously have to get stuff done tonight. This was not supposed to happen. I didn't plan for this. The HRRR, I didn't expect it to be right. So, I did not clear my schedule completely tonight. So, I've got stuff I need to do over the next 3 hours. I'll keep an eye on it on my phone, but there's not exactly a good way for me to live stream from my phone unless it's storm chasing. So, if you are out here in Southwest, let's refresh this real quick. I'll give you a breakdown really quick of what I'm anticipating tonight. I'm anticipating this to continue for the next... let's do a different color. We'll do green. I'm anticipating this to be our greatest severe threat for the next 2 hours, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds likely. I expect this line to intensify to some extent of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. And then I expect the far southern side of this line will be a little bit on the weaker side, but still could be a gust of 60 to 70 miles per hour down here. The greatest tornado threat, I think, will stay with our storms further to the north with this MCV as it goes towards Madison. And I believe that this line will begin to weaken as it crosses over Chicago or just before Chicago. It should begin to weaken in about an hour to an hour and a half to the point where we will start seeing some portions of this line go sub-severe. So with that being said, this live stream was warranted for a 90 mile per hour observed severe and then continued for a strong tornado going through Davenport in Iowa, and then continued even thus further for a 80 mile per hour severe. But with much of the activity starting to weaken, and we are down to just a handful of SIG severes in this area with 2 tornado warnings. There's not too much going on further south, and it's a bit less widespread than what it was earlier. And I also am going to be busy. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I may see you tomorrow. I may not. I'll just be live when I'm live next. Thank you for tuning in to this urgent live stream. There's not going to be an outro because it's an urgent stream, so I didn't do an intro. I appreciate the mods from on chat, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Friday night. And if you're in southern Wisconsin, far northern Illinois, definitely stay hyper weather aware. Stay safe. Watch for your weather. See you in the next one. Good.